Let's talk a little Georgia versus Texas. It's becoming the hottest recruiting rivalry in the SEC. Some notable head-to-heads here. You had Justin Williams. He kind of started things off, didn't he? And that was when the Bulldogs went into the state of Texas and pulled him out. And ever since then, it seems like Texas has been on the upper hand of this one. What do you make of this budding rivalry on the recruiting trail?
I mean, I think entertaining is probably the best way to describe it. I mean, they're two powerhouse heavyweight programs that are made to play, in my opinion, in the SEC. I mean, Sark coached at Alabama. You know, he knows what it's like, just like Kirby Smart. I mean, Kirby played at Georgia, obviously, and coached at Georgia, coached at LSU, coached at Alabama, been around Nick Saban, Mark Richt. Of course, Sark has had his time as the OC, you know, as well at Alabama. So both those head coaches in Austin and Athens know what SEC football is all about, the players you have to compete and win championships, you know, in the SEC. If you win the SEC, you're likely going to be competing for a national championship as well. So, look, from the outside looking in and a place in my spot, covering recruiting, covering the best players in America, Texas and Georgia battle for a lot of the same guys, and there's been some great head-to-head battles, and it's become, I think, the rivalry, you know, on the recruiting trail, and maybe becoming that on the field as well, you know, in the SEC.
Yeah, and would you say that the first few years of the Sark era reminds you of when Kirby took over at Georgia and kind of went on that recruiting tear?
Yeah, I don't know if I can say exactly, but I think it's similar, you know. But I think the big thing about Georgia versus Alabama was, you know, Kirby was going back to his alma mater, his home state, away from Nick Saban, the coach he was coaching for the last decade, and going to go head-to-head versus the legend Nick Saban to win those battles. Now, I think, you know, Kirby's kind of becoming that living legend in college football as the one of the best head coaches out there, 2 national championships, multiple SEC championships, multiple number 1 recruiting classes, you know, since he's been at Georgia. So I don't know if I can say it's there yet, but I think it's definitely getting close to becoming one of those major rivalries.
Yeah, and Texas is really hitting their stride. What have you noticed about Texas recruiting this cycle? I mean, what is it? Is it the wins on the field, the hype, the excitement? Is it the NIL? I mean, you know, fans have different opinions of how Texas is getting it done, but in your opinion, why are they winning so many of these battles against Georgia right now?
Yeah, I think depending on who you're talking about, Josh, you could go any of those you just mentioned, from their play on the field to development to competing for the SEC championship to playing in the playoffs the last 2 years to NIL. I think all of those things, you know, factor in differently depending on what recruit we're talking about and what recruiting battle we're talking about. Texas won. I think obviously when you talk about some guys, NIL comes up first. You talk about other guys, you know, just Texas football, the brand, the opportunity in Austin, life after football, development under Sark or Kenny Baker on the defensive line, or whoever may be talking about position coach. I think all those, I think people think right now when you think Texas, if they win a battle, it's NIL, just a random fan. But look, it's not all about NIL. Yes, they play the NIL game as good, as well as anyone, but there's more to Texas than just NIL. Those guys compete. They played back-to-back playoff seasons. They played for the SEC championship last year. They have a lot of good things going on in Austin, Texas right now.
All right, Georgia fans, Texas fans, let's hear it. What do you think of this rivalry on the recruiting trail, and who do you think has the upper hand right now? I know the game's still got to get played, and that will factor into the ultimate decisions of some of these guys, but right now, who do you guys think has the upper hand? Let us know.